good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever it is on your side of town. So I was just watching this video. This guy is talking about what you guys need and don't need for the Dominican Republic. And I literally just came back from the Dominican Republic. And what is today? Today is June 25th, 2021. You do need a COVID test to go over there, just to make it easier for yourself. Because if you go over there and you don't get the test before, and then you're going to have to take a test there. They don't just like not care. They care. So when you get off your plane and you go through customs, they're going to ask you, do you have documentation of your COVID test? I had my documentation, and then the guy still pointed me over to the area where you get tested. But when I got over to that area, which was, just another direction from the line, you have one direction you go to just get in line for customs to check your passport. He directed me to go the other direction, and where they make you take the test. I pulled my paperwork up on my phone and showed it to them, and they were like, okay, you can go ahead and go. Actually ended up being cool because that line gave me a shortcut to go straight up to customs, get in my passport, and I was out of there. But I guess the reason why they're saying that you don't need your COVID test is because you can probably fly over from America to Dominican. But for me, my experience when I was at the airport, it's so messy with all these rules that I'm glad I got my test ahead of time, because even though the Dominican, I guess the embassy, if you could look online, it'll tell you like if you have to have a COVID test or not. It says you don't need one. But when I got to the airport, they still asked me for my COVID test. So, and at the end of the day, if you're trying to go out of the country and you want a stress-free process, get your COVID test before you go. And then when you get there, there's a way to schedule your COVID test. If you're staying at a resort, they usually do the test there. If you're not staying at a resort, just go on your phone, look up how to take a COVID test there in the Dominican, find a location that's close to you. There's hospitals there, there are clinics. I went to a clinic near my rental. It's just kind of like when you go to CVS, but it's outside. You sit in some chairs and wait for your test to be done. Quick tip. They tried to charge me the $70 test, which I guess is a PCR. I don't need a PCR test. So I was like, no, I want the cheap test. It was like $35. And she was like, okay. She got an attitude. And I was like, whatever. And she went ahead and had somebody come over and talk English. And they were like, okay, you can take the antigen test, and that'll be just fine for America. And that test was $35. So when you go over there, make sure that you tell them that you want to do the cheap test, and make sure you go 72 hours before your flight to get that test, because for America they want you to have it done 3 days before you arrive. So I just came on real quick, and didn't bother with no makeup, no vaccine, none of that, nothing like that today. I just was watching somebody else's video, and he was just telling people that you don't need a COVID test to go to the DR. Well, if you have anxiety like me, I try to make things as simple as possible so that I don't be stressed out. And another quick tip, make sure that you guys, when you do, like if you have a connecting flight, make sure that you do like at least a bare minimum of 3-hour layover. If you don't do a 3-hour layover, you have a good chance of missing your flight. I've missed 2 flights. I've been to the Dominican, I've been to Puerto Rico, and heading out of the country is no problem ever. But coming back in, the airport that I always end up in is the Atlanta one. So maybe this only applies to the Atlanta airport, but every time it wasn't backed up this time, but it's still, I had a situation in the plane. Some lady got sick or something, so they held us up in the plane for like an hour. So at the end of the day, always make sure that you have a really good layover time. At the end of the day, go ahead and just get the COVID test ahead of time. That way you don't have any issues. You don't have no worries. You don't have to be nervous. Anyway, ciao. I do have a cool video that I will load later. I haven't really been on YouTube very much. I've been doing so much stuff with my properties and trying to get it, do stuff, vacation and things like that. But I did have a really, really, really good time when I went to the Dominican this time. I have some fun pics that I'll show you guys later. Ciao.